Hello and welcome to Movie of the Year, the only podcast with the science and the screaming to determine the best movie from any given year. This season, of course, we're doing 1997, and tonight's movie is Boogie Nights.
Oh,
that's
Boogie Nights!
Pretty exciting. Champion Ryan is also here with me. Ryan,
thank you so much, Greg, for not just inviting me, but giving me the championship last week, this week, next week.
You know what? This is very true, everybody, and I want to look each of you in the eye when I say this, so please put your heads very close together. I don't give it to you. You earn it.
Thanks, Brian.
If you get the best friend belt, you earn that belt. You earn the best friend goodie bag. You earn the free food delivery, right? Those are things you earn. I don't award them. I wouldn't even know how.
The goodie bag is basically just like a list of chores you want me to do, but I do them.
Yeah, but it's in a fun bag.
And I whistle.
Now, people at home, you can't see us right now, and if you can, spooky. But we have a very, very special guest with us. It's been a very long time, and we're very excited.
Taylor.
It's Taylor! Oh my gosh!
Oh, boy.
Taylor, now you are not the champion. You are not my best friend.
No,
but you've got raw sex appeal, and it's really working.
Thank
for
you. And coming
he
into
said
this
Ross
week,
sex appeal.
I
like
said,
from Friends,
the hottest of all the friends.
Yeah, the most fuckable,
the pivot man himself.
Greg, I'm very excited because even though I was not the champion last week, I'm coming into this week. I'm feeling good, and I am confident in the fact that no matter what, the worst that I could possibly do on this episode is coming second. So
that's.
Worst I could possibly do is silver. That's the only thing that's keeping me alive right now.
It's rough because actually there is a special guest, Taylor.
What?
And it's you. But also with us is Mike. Goodness gracious, what are you doing here? I didn't even see you there.
Whenever there are movies.
Nope, I already don't
there.
Like this.
Where best friends will be judged.
He's going to get so many points.
I'm waiting in the shadows.
He's going to get so many points with that voice.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. That's
Shit.
Too much raw sexuality.
It's also bullshit because we've been reviewing movies and judging Friends for weeks now, and he hasn't been there.
Okay,
so,
wait,
yeah,
that's
it was
a
straight
good
up
point.
lie.
Hold on, that's a much better point. We've been doing this over and over again. We've done it successfully many times.
A breeze on your neck during Titanic. That was me.
Whoa,
Fuck.
no.
I am already behind both of you.
Guys, listen. There was a breeze on my neck during Titanic. So that really resonates with me.
He's just blowing smoke up your butt.
Or
When
breezes.
somebody blows
Mike's
smoke up your
coming in here
butt
being a real.
during Totoro.
He's being a real cobbler's nonce.
You know what?
Fuck. Shit. God.
You know what?
Fuck.
Listen, we can keep this up
No!
literally all night, okay?
Let's do it.
We'll just keep doing it. You know what?
I also think that
Shit.
I left on a high. I think I left as a best friend.
You did.
So are we now
Well,
both best
okay,
friends?
he left as a
or-
best friend, and then he got inducted into the goddamn Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
so like,
dude.
what the fuck is this?
I was hoping
Thank
not
you.
to tell him that,
Thank
Taylor.
you, peons. Thank you. Oh, is that me right there in the Hall of Fame? I love it. My likeness is very like me.
You can't see the Hall of Fame from here. It's canon that the Hall of
like a
Fame
2-hour
is
tram
one
ride
big
away.
tram ride away from the studio.
For a larf, I just put my hands over my eyes and looked out like I was peering in the distance.
Well, it is getting pretty spacious over there, which is a good thing because later we have to put somebody new in the Hall of Fame. Or somebody's. Somebody's once told me the hall was gonna hold me.
It ain't the biggest fame in the shed.
It is the biggest fame in the show.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. So tonight's movie is Boogie Nights. Now, first off, let me ask you, did everybody watch Boogie Nights? Did you guys watch the movie?
I completed it.
Because last week, Taylor, maybe part of the reason that you lost is because you were watching LA Confidential as we were recording the podcast about LA Confidential.
A lot of
and-
no spoilers.
Yeah. I'm not at that part. Hang on.
And I will admit, you know what? Maybe that was
Hindrance.
a hindrance on my part,
Yeah.
and I should have watched it beforehand. But
That's
I did.
why you only scored like 33 points.
Yeah, and I should. If I would have just watched it beforehand, maybe I would have scored like a 1 million points.
You know what we'll do? We'll give you a little goose there.
Oh, thank you. And because I did this week watch it beforehand.
Whoa,
so I came
hang
LA
on.
Confidential.
Yes, I watched LA Confidential.
Okay.
Before we did this.
That's good. Wait, that might hamper you a little bit. I got some bad news.
Oh, are we not talking about LA Confidential?
What
again?
do we think about Boogie Nights?
I was a little nervous. I did complete it, start to finish. I was a little nervous about it because of how I loved it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, not in the same Fight Club way, but similar than a lot of other movies that we've revisited. I wasn't sure how some of it was going to hold up, especially with Greg and Taylor, the woke brothers. But
Oh, we're just so woke.
We're brothers.
Yet another cool nickname for us. Continue.
I couldn't believe how much I loved it in all the same and new ways.
You know what? I had pretty much the same experience. At first, when I watched it, I thought, is this a little bit of an empty experience? But then, since then, I've thought about it and reflecting on the movie, I have felt like, no, it's pretty good.
I found reflecting really changes the movie. If you watch that movie and then don't think about it again until you come in here, it's going to be a different experience.
Yeah, I'm going to have a real hard
reflection.
time this week. I watched it, left my mind.
I have to say, the first time I watched it, I don't think I thought about it at all. I was like, that was about pornography. And then I just like went about the rest of my days as an 18-year-old dude.
I get what you're saying, though. Like, I think there is a way to look at it or watch it where it does just feel like a surface level,
It's
Rags
no-
to riches.
but very entertaining.
It's
roller
no
coaster.
Magnolia.
Yeah, it is the most accessible PTA movie I think
Yeah,
you've ever
for
put out.
sure.
Is this our first repeat director
Yeah.
of our show?
Well, it's our first really important one. Like,
Okay.
this is like a second like entry, or the original entry into an oeuvre.
Right.
Like, I mean, so yeah, I would say this is one of the most, like, we haven't had another Kubrick, for instance, or
So I'm not surprised that you went in nervous because Magnolia, you flipped out on all of us.
I did, but there are a lot of similarities to me in that I'm not sure I need everything to piece together in this perfect, like, thematic way.
Yeah.
I just want to watch him point a camera.
yeah.
You know? And, like, that's sort of enough for me.
Or
And
just shake the shit out of it while zooming.
Boogie Nights is, it's a lot more like a normal-ass movie than Magnolia is, but I got a lot of that same, like, rush of, oh, man, I love this guy.
I think I liked it a lot more for its being just a more normal ass movie. I mean, you can say what you have to say without having it fucking rain frogs.
And they're almost so Magnolia, the longer you watch it, the more you're like, oh, all these different stories might be one story. And this movie flipped. The first hour is just a solid, I know this movie. And then more you're like, so they're just never going to hang out again? And now magical money's right. Like, it does get weird. Like, you can see the hints of what's to come
Why
there.
didn't they start a
it does get
podcast so they
weird.
could hang out with each other weekly?
There's a moment where it just becomes a Quentin Tarantino movie for about 45 seconds.
Yeah, dude,
And,
for
and
sure.
then he just cuts away from that.
And in a way, it reminded me a little bit of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because there's like a lengthy like talk about violence within the movie itself, and then violence becomes like such a big part of the movie in between the weird donut shop robbery.
Yeah.
You guys, if you're gonna rob somewhere, don't rob a donut shop. And I don't even know why that donut shop had $100 bills.
Also,
Yeah.
Somebody went in there and paid $100.
that was a bag
for
full
How
of
donuts.
much are those goddamn donuts?
That
Also-
makes sense now if you go to like Need or like your vegan donutteries.
Yeah.
Those are pricey donuts.
if I go-
Do donuts. or something.
There's a vegan donut place across the street from me that I never go to because each donut is $4.50. I'm not paying that for a single donut.
Also, if you're
No
going to
way.
rob any place, before you go in there, check to see if there's like a MAGA hat wearing guns and ammo reading dude
Yeah.
He's
also
reading
there.
guns and ammo, you
Yeah.
guys. And he's wearing a vest. Come
There's
on.
your sign.
Come
Like,
on.
I've never seen an actual person, and I've hung out with lots of people who are very into guns. I've never seen someone actually read Guns and Ammo magazine. I'm concerned that it's a front.
We are obviously excited and ready to shoot this bad boy and start really getting in deep into our conversation about Boogie Nights. And so that means there's only one thing to do.
Mount Rushmore.
And that's head to Mount Rushmore, or at least where Mount Rushmore used to be. Unfortunately, Mount Rushmore, as I'm sure you have seen in the news, was towed away. It got towed away, and now there's just a big, empty, president-sized hole, which we are going to fill with the fashions of 1997. I think that makes sense, and I think our audience believes it makes sense as well. The fashions of 97, gentlemen, are you prepared?
I think we're four fashionable gentlemen.
Right? If anyone is going
In 97, for sure.
In 97.
If anyone is going to decide this, it should be us and then me, a group of four unfashionable people, amongst which I am the least fashionable.
But you got to admit that we all still dressed the way we did in 97.
That is
so-
true. That is true. I'm wearing a shirt that did come from 1997. So, and it's holding up. You know what? Fast fashion is killing the planet.
Is that vintage?
Yes.
What's like the...
It's
for
become
vintage?
vintage. It's ridden my torso into vintagehood. It like started off young and new and fresh and full of promise, and now it is vintage.
Yeah, vintage is cool if you go and hunt it down. It's
Yeah.
sad if you own it the whole
If
time.
you wore it consistently through that whole adventure,
No, I think that my denim jacket that I've worn since the 90s is great. I think it's a good thing that I have.
Probably could use a wash, but
It could,
that's
you
fine.
know what? Maybe just scrub it down with like a
I will never
Clorox
watch it.
wipe.
Washing denim ruins it. Haven't you read that?
I think you're supposed to wash it in acid, right?
Oh, that's
If you want to create a supervillain.
Yeah,
Taylor, you sound knowledgeable and handsome.
sure.
What is a fashion from 1997 we should put up on this mountain?
Well, I think the thing that should go right up on there is chokers.
Chokers.
They're making a comeback right now. It was
Which, thank God, am I right?
right, absolutely. But that was a big thing in 1997, and I think it's only gotten bigger.
Yeah.
Well, as necks get bigger.
Are we? You guys would know this. That's of course going right up on the mountain. We could put Jefferson in a choker.
Of course.
I think he
Ooh,
deserves it, and I
absolutely.
think honestly he would probably enjoy it.
Oh, he'd be into it.
But are the fashions of '97 big right now? Because I feel
It
like
seems like, yeah.
Yes, it is come
doing
back.
a little bit of research for this. It seemed like almost everything that was fashionable in '97 is now enjoying a bit of a
There was
renaissance.
because there was a bit where the 80s were big again, and
Yeah.
now it's come back into the 90s.
The
Why
90s,
not? Which
okay.
the 90s in whole were kind of a bad time for fashion.
Perfect. It was a perfect decade for
Right,
everything.
right. Yeah, definitely.
You know what? It celebrated the choker, and so I celebrate it. And I celebrate myself. And Mike, I celebrate you as well.
Thank you.
You are a reigning best friend. I mean, this is like a
Yes.
match between two best friends, a death match.
Came out of retirement.
Great, love that.
And then also
Feels very good.
probably my favorite non-wife person. So, Mike,
Yes.
fashions of '97, go.
Here's a fashion I've been waiting to come out. They have been. I did not own these in '97. I owned these 10 years too late, but they've been packed away in 3 of my drawers. But raver pants that you could fit 5 people in each leg were so
boy.
1997. Just the biggest jeans.
The really big pants, right? And then did they also have like the straps?
oh, sometimes
and,
they had the straps.
like,
For,
the
like,
hoops?
hammers?
That like they had like the strap that you're supposed to carry a
Yes.
hammer in, and then like a bunch of little like strappy things.
Like fat ass bondage pants.
Okay, I definitely do agree. I am going to put it on the maybe pile. That is not attacking you in any way. I think that is definitely a 97 fashion. I just want to hear a few other ones before I start committing to mountainhood.
You don't want to just shove a whole bunch of stuff on the mountain
No,
before
no.
you
Well,
get
now,
your options.
now that I have 3 contestants all vying for best friend, I have to allot time differently.
Of course,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Ryan, 97 fashions. What do you got?
Okay, so this might be coming back, but this is a big 97 thing that was also big in the Boogie Nights time that we're talking about. And it seemed like in Boogie Nights, everybody had these like very fashionable platforms, shoes.
Yeah.
In 97, the platforms were there, but they weren't fashionable. It was like now flip-flops will have like 4 extra inches of chunk
Yeah.
underneath them.
Every shoe was a chunky shoe.
Like Converse and Vans, they all had like just extra meat underneath.
Which honestly, I would kind of get down with because I'm not tall. I'm almost tall. But if you put like a 3-inch heel on me, suddenly I'm 6'3".
And sexy as fuck.
That's fucking tall, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Touch your
fucking
butt.
tall. Well, that's going right up on the mountain. We're going to lift that whole mountain up about
Gives us
3
whole
or
speech. He's not going
4.
to put everything on the mountain, but it puts it right.
Well, when the answers belong on the
Oh,
mountain,
hey,
Mike,
Mike's back.
Man, listen, you know what politicking is going to get you, Mike?
Ah!
It's going to get you a couple
I'm
points.
a politician.
All right.
You
Be a
know
long
what?
show, Taylor.
Yep.
And I think what you'll find is a lot like skadooshing. I am entirely consistent about that.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
Taylor, do you have something that belongs on the mountain? There's only 2 spots left. There's already a hot maybe. Like there's a top maybe in the pool already.
I think I do have something that belongs on the mountain.
Yeah, you're coming at the king, so don't miss.
And this was a year where denim is very big.
Okay.
So I am going to go for the most denim article of clothing that you can get, denim fucking overalls. This is another thing that
Yeah.
is coming back like the last year or so. People are like, what if we wore overalls again?
And correct me if I'm wrong, but usually extremely big, right?
Oh yeah.
Like these are not form-fitting overalls. These
they're-
are like I'm going to go fix the fence overalls.
They're like big overalls,
Yeah.
and you have to now wear them with a fanny pack that is strapped over your shoulder so that it
Yeah.
holds the overalls
The boulder.
in. Yeah. It's a whole look, and you know what? I'm happy with it, and this was a big 97 fashion.
And I got to say, in 97, girls, like, you guys were trying to, like, dress down and casual. No, still smoking hot. I really like those overalls.
Yeah.
Overalls were good.
Now you just see one part of the
Oh,
body.
yeah.
Okay, wait. Hang on. Let's not give any spoilers about other potential clutch 90s fashions. I'm going to also put this on the maybe. This is another solid
This is outrageous.
maybe that
This
we've
is
got.
outrageous to me.
I'm a gentleman who wants to know his options before selecting something.
Well, yeah, if you're a fool.
Mike, there's a little bit of daylight here, buddy.
Here's a piece of fashion that is garbage. I hope it is not coming back. This tends to be more for the gentlemen than the ladies.
Okay.
Unlike the rest of these. It is, you like this short sleeve? But your arms still get tired? Just throw a long sleeve shirt right under that short sleeve t-shirt.
Oh, God.
Because your arms get tired?
Because
Did I say tired?
Yeah.
I'm a little tired.
Yeah.
Cold.
Mike's arms are exceptionally...
Folks, I've been wearing long sleeves under short sleeves, and boy, are my arms tired.
Boy, these arms are exhausted. Man, another very strong maybe that is going up on the maybe pile. What I want is, Ryan, I want you to give us our last one, and then I will pick two to be the final position, the final two positions on the mountain from my 4 maybes.
I got nothing. All mine are picked.
You literally have no other ones. Well, then, looking over this list, it has to be overalls, for sure.
Fuck yeah, baby. The overalls are overall.
And then the other one for me is, what's the last one, Ryan?
The undershirt under the
under the sleeves, for sure. So that is a point for Mike. Ryan, tell our listeners the mountain they have won to celebrate America, 97, and fashion.
Jefferson is wearing a choker.
Nice.
Taft is wearing platform shoes.
Okay.
I like that we put Taft on
There's
there.
a lot. Okay, good. Go, keep going.
G. Gordon Liddy is wearing overalls. And I will say
Scooter Libby.
Scooter Libby is wearing a long sleeve, like, what are they called? The
Thermal?
thermal,
Yeah,
long
there
sleeve
you
thermal
go.
with a shirt on top.
All right. When we come back, we are going to get to one of our world-famous questions. Gentlemen, Boogie Nights is a movie about the porn industry shifting from the 1970s to the 1980s, from film to VHS, from fresh-faced young stars who do a bump of coke to have fun, all the way to people who snort PCP and scream at themselves
To have
in
fun.
the mirror.
To scream at themselves.
Half the movie is a super fun ride through the world of pornography where everything is okay. And then at about the exact halfway point, everything goes absolutely to hell. And just around the time you're ready to turn the movie off and return to your life, there is suddenly a last second swell where everything turns out to be okay in the final 10 minutes. Much has been made of this movie's treatment of the 80s and the film's dramatic tone shift when the clock strikes 1980. But what is Anderson trying to tell us about the 1970s?
It's perception, right? It's everything seems like it's fun, but there's Heather Graham and Diggler are children. They're teenagers who just
Yes.
start fucking.
So are you saying that, do you think that he could have picked any 2 decades and the first one would be great and the second one would be awful?
Dude, more than saying something, except for the fact that the things that were like really big in the 70s were what the movie shows to be passing, it didn't feel like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where it was like, this was the best time ever and I want to recreate it as much as possible. It felt like this is the point at which lives are changing, but I really want to talk about how people hold on to the past and how you either successfully let go of the past and move on, or it will absolutely kill you and chew you up, and you have to learn how to do it. Everybody does at some point in their life. That, to me, seemed to loom larger than the 70s to 80s thing.
I really do think that you could make this movie, or Paul Thomas Anderson could make this movie.
I could do it.
And do it from like the 2000s to the 2010s. And
What about the 30s or the 40s?
yes, he could also do the 30s to the
1880s
40s.
to 1890s.
We should also point
Yes.
out, he's like 26 the time this movie's made.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know shit about
Yeah.
1979.
Like I looked it up. He is the exact same age when he made this movie that I am now, and fuck, is that depressing?
Do you feel like
the
he's
fuck do you do?
Do you feel like he's ahead of you? Like, do you feel like he's
I think
succeeded
he's-
more than you have?
I think he's like a step ahead. I think he's
Yeah.
just a little bit. I think I just maybe haven't had quite as much privilege, and I think with a little bit more access, I could definitely achieve what Paul Thomas Anderson.
You know
has.
what? You have literally achieved nothing in your life, but I think that you're gonna.
Please don't be mean to Taylor.
I think you're going places.
I think that Mike hit
you're
it on the
going
head with
places.
those 2 characters. This is an ensemble cast, and there's so many people, but it's specifically Dirk and Roller Girl who I think are the focus of this specific thing. Because, I mean, having roller skates on is not just a quirk for a character. It's
Yeah.
like, it's infantilizing.
We-
And then Dirk, he is 17 or whatever, But
and they really made him look young. They did a good job making Marky Mark look young.
But what we see when he gets to he doesn't turn 18. He turns 10 when he goes to Burt Reynolds' house.
Yeah.
He restarts his childhood. He gives himself a new name, and now it begins again. And so he just matures at a much later, slower rate than everyone else. But then it all falls apart once they hit that age where life just sucks. It's not fun when you're not a kid anymore.
And he stays in that honeymoon phase for years because he doesn't do coke until the jump. So he's been in the porn industry for 3 years and hasn't done coke? Okay, sure.
But it's interesting because on the night of the 80s, the Little Bill killing himself, and that's when the movie turns, Dirk actually has a pretty great night.
Oh, yeah.
It just also happens to be the night where he tries coke for the first time.
Yeah,
so
great night.
So it leads to his downfall without him experiencing traumatic shit.
And I think because of this scene, it's very hard not to be okay, what's the point of it going from 70s to 80s? Because very pointedly, this scene is literally in the middle of the movie. Yeah. And the first hour and 15 minutes of this movie is just things mostly getting better and better and better until they seem just absolutely ideal. And then at the point of this, everything gets so bad that it seems like a cruel and twisted nightmare.
It's the weirdly interesting character right at this crux for me is Scotty, who this is the moment where he comes on to Dirk and gets rejected, and he has his moment where he sits in the car and is fucking idiot.
Yeah.
After that, Scotty kind of stops being a character.
You know what? The movie just sees him right out the door. I don't think it's totally clear what happens to Scotty.
He's there for one more scene during in the drug deal planning, and he's like, I don't think he's shut the fuck up, Scotty.
He's there for that, and right at the very end in the happiness, he's filming as
he is in that. Okay,
he's in that, but everyone else got a very specific thing that they moved on to or got a happy ending. His happy ending was just that he continued to exist.
Yeah.
And I thought that was in a movie that has everyone else have a first act and a second act, Scotty only seemed to have a first act.
I don't think it's that much less than Buck or
Roller
Becky
Girl.
or Roller Girl even. I mean, it's not a lot, but with this many characters.
Yeah, but it just feels like they really didn't have anything else. The other characters have at least something to do in the back half. Scotty does hits his peak at the halfway
because his
point.
whole thing is and this character is gay.
Yeah,
he's not much more than awkward and gay.
But no,
right?
he totally it's hard for the 80s because he does fall away, but the 70s part he fits in with Dirk and Roller Girl. I mean, he has look at his clothes.
Yeah,
they're the clothes of a literal child.
Young,
the way that they fit on him, and he is awkward like a kid as well, and then we just don't see a lot of his terrible growing up.
Yeah.
Or he grows up, all of his growing up happens in that car.
The thing that I wonder is when it transitioned into the 80s, do you think there's a cut of this movie where Paul Thomas Anderson dealt with AIDS and then that got cut?
Because everything in the 80s existed in the 70s, but in the 70s it's fun. In the 80s it's shitty. And so I wonder if even that is too dark for this movie.
And also that you need to have a thing in life and storytelling where once what goes up must come down, So there had to be an exact inverse amount of disaster because of how fucking great and funny and wonderful that first half of the movie is.
Even for Little Bill, is that what William H. Macy is? It's hilarious that his wife fucks around all the time. It's so funny for everybody and even sort of him until it's not at all anymore.
The OG cuck.
See, that's why, dude, for sure. And also, I feel like that's really reinforcing the message of you have to let things go. You don't have to stay married to this person.
Yeah.
If you don't like the fact that your wife fucks dudes at every single party, you should stop being with your wife, and not by killing her and yourself, just by stepping up and saying I don't think we should be together anymore.
Yeah.
And then for the person who you would think changes the least, which is Burt Reynolds' character.
For sure, yeah.
Because he is the grandfather or the father, and he should advance that part. It's the same thing. He can't let stuff go.
Yeah.
He can't move forward. And I'm not just talking about into VHS. I just mean these friendships and relationships will change. He can't let it happen, and he goes off the deep end.
I wonder because Dirk and Roller Girl are young, so we're watching them change. I think you could set this movie 10 years before, and I think Amber and Jack just have done this cycle. Just over
for sure.
and over.
I definitely think there is if you go back to the 70s, then you will see Glory Days with a completely different cast of actors and the same three weird, creepy older men who live in this community and exploit them.
I do think that Amber is a really standout character because I do agree. She has a cycle, but there's something that is so hopeful about her, but also so knowing. Like,
Yeah.
she's the one who has the face of like, I'm going to do a bunch of drugs or I'm going to put on a happy face because I can't, but like.
That's why she does drugs all the time.
Yeah.
Because she can't quite forget what she needs to.
There's so many like couple of frame shots of Julianne Moore's face of like, she knows what's going on and now she's going to try to pretend that it's not the case.
And then Jack, I feel like he does eventually sort of give in. And he moves to VHS, and things work out. But that moment feels like you can hear echoes of it when he's making what we see is truly very bad porn, and he's like, "This is my masterpiece. This is the best thing." It feels like he is remembering like even worse things that he's like he moved on. He's like getting better and like getting to something, and this is the apex of that. And then it knocked back down, and he's like, I'll try and make something good out of VHS now. Like, he feels like he's done this a couple times.
He has these film aspirations that the whole time I'm like, is he just trying to sell Dirk Diggler, or does he believe? And it does feel like he's like, no, I'm an artist. I'm just being an artist in porn. But he knows he's not a real artist because at no point is he like, well, I'll make a real movie.
I feel like no, I don't think he ever like. I don't think he thinks that he'll win an Oscar. I think he just wants to elevate his medium as it is.
He wants people to keep watching porn after they've jacked off, as he says in his big famous
after
speech.
the joy juice hits the floor.
Honestly, that's as aspirational a goal as winning an Oscar.
And so, when he's watching Brock Turner,
Brock
Landry?
Landers.
When he's watching that movie, it is confusing because we can tell it's crap. I don't know if Anderson is like using it as a joke or if he's just talking about relative to other porn at the time.
He's just trying to make the best porn, and he probably correctly judges that at that moment, that's the best porn. There was way better porn than that, I think, like more like better acted, more better acted.
But I think based on the other themes in the movie, I think if you rewound the clock, you would find like if you put Jack at the same age as Dirk is at the beginning of this movie, Jack wanted to make like real movies, and this is like he failed at that and he's gone back because a lot of the people in the movie have a thing that they want to get to, but they end up in porn. I feel like Jack is the person who stayed in porn while the other people got what they want.
You know what I noticed watching it this time? Even though he always says he wants to make like film and he's got all these highfalutin goals for porn, if you listen, that's what he says to people all the time. But if you listen to what other characters say about his orders about the porn they've been making recently, he wants everything cheaper. He wants fewer lights. He wants like way less budget, and he acts like when the people talk about it, they act like he's going for a style. But there's a conversation between Little Bill and the
cinematographer,
Ricky Jay, where Ricky Jay's finally like, dude, we're not doing that. Like that, we're not going to spend any money on this movie. And so that kind of like cuts against what his personal or like his public persona is, which is I want to make it as good as possible. He obviously does want to make it as cheaply as possible.
There's another conversation too where they're saying like, Jack, this shoot is tomorrow, or like, when are we going to do this? And he's like, tomorrow, like. Because he's at a party, and he's actually this is the part of the director's life that he enjoys. The thing that I really like brought Jack together for me about all of this stuff is the roller girl, like live amateur in a limo,
making
porn.
film history,
film history. And I always thought that scene was about defending Roller Girl. Like they both beat him up because Roller Girl like says like this is bullshit. And watching it now, Jack doesn't care about Roller Girl really. What it's all about is, this guy is not listening to my great, I'm an artist here, and you will not let me make art.
He literally says, your movies suck. And that's the exact moment. Because I used to see it the exact same way you did. But that's the exact moment he freaks out. He's like, your movies fucking suck anyway. And that's when he's like, nope, it's go time. And then the stuntman pretending to be.
Yeah.
And based on what I've heard about the shoot, like how they filmed it was like some PA said, Bert, I got your lunch wrong. And that was like, and they just attacked. Like that's all they needed.
Like, you son of a bitch!
I'm Burt Reynolds.
I'll kill everybody.
I was in Smokey and the Bandit.
Well, that is all the time we have for that. What we're going to do is do a little best supporting actor or best supporting role bracket, but you're only going to get to hear that if you're a Patreon listener. If you're not a Patreon listener, well, boo to you, mister. No, thank you for listening to the show. I'm so sorry I said that.
If you're not a Patreon subscriber, just torrent it.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get it for free.
Go to your Pirate Bays.
The one thing is, it is good. It's worth listening to. So either give us the money for it or find some way to steal it.
Go to your Jack Torrance. Shining movies.
All right, everyone on the tram, mind the closing doors. It's a little cramped in here with 4 of us.
No
No offense.
I'm trying to stick my head up.
Don't try to do that. The stanchions are too close.
It's longer than I remember.
Oh, you have no idea.
I think we add a second every time. Like we put down more track.
This
The
is
whole
actually,
building
we're
over.
right now at the halfway point.
Yeah.
We put it far away because we expect it to grow and grow, like our love for each other. This
Now
is
it ends.
20 seconds.
Oh,
No,
shit.
this is 20 seconds to go.
The seats are comfortable though.
Yeah. Good cushion. Our knees are in each other's business. Okay, wait, hang on.
Welcome to the Pop Filter Hall of Fame.
Yes. Welcome to these hollowed halls. We hollowed them out of a mountain near the studio. We take a tram here, and then we come and celebrate the things that are important to us, the Pop Filter family, the things that matter and influence who we are. Today, we each get 3 votes, so potentially 3 things could make it in, or is going to split the vote even more and nothing is going to make it in. You never know how it goes in the Pop Filter Hall of Fame. Well, Mike, we all missed you so much. In fact,
Mike.
take a point just for you. You need
Don't like that.
every point that
Don't
you
like
can
that
get.
at all.
Feels good. Well, I
Who-
felt good until he said that.
Who would you like to see in the Pop Filter Hall of Fame? Now, you're the only one who is going to propose somebody
Yes.
who was also in the Pop Filter Hall of Fame.
Well, I'm going to propose taking Mike out. So that's going to be my nominee.
That's why you get to
Oh.
wear the jacket. We have a special golden jacket that Hall of Fame members get to wear while they're in the Hall of Fame.
I like it because it's fashionable, it's comfortable, but it breathes. I'm not too hot
Yeah.
even in here. I would say, as an expert, I know what it takes to be in the Pop Filter Hall of Fame.
You know it
Maybe-
inside and out.
Yes. And I go to the soirees. and I think what we would like at our cocktail parties is I do think there's nerddom used to be it used to be hard for the four of us
Yeah,
and those
definitely.
like us. And I think something helped break into the mainstream. It wasn't just all the nerds getting older and taking over Hollywood. But I think one movie broke through and was like, isn't nerdy shit cool as fuck? And people keep trying to recreate the magic of Jurassic Park, but they cannot at all.
Jurassic Park.
Is that that movie where 2 dinosaurs fought a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 dinosaurs fought a lot.
Now, we as a group celebrate the lyrics to the Jurassic Park song. Does anybody want to sing any of those from the hit song Jurassic Park?
Is this the...
Oh my God, you guys, fucking dinosaurs! What the fuck? Oh my God! Check that out on the YouTube. Jurassic Park. This movie was so big for me. I was like maybe 13 years old, and it just rocked me like an absolute hurricane.
To me, this is the summer of Last Action Hero, so I do not support Jurassic Park in any way.
Really?
Only could pick one movie a summer.
I recently saw, because one thing I always say about Jurassic Park, a lot of people say, it's not just me, is the movie looks so amazing. Like the CGI in this movie and the effects look better than most movies that come out now. I just watched a video on YouTube about why it looks so good, and a lot of it just has to do with how
Real
it's-
dinosaurs?
Yeah,
They
real
got
dinosaurs.
They made the park.
Real dinosaurs.
documentary.
And so once you make the dinos, the rest is just pointing the camera at them.
One of the coolest things about this movie is they've recently found like hundreds of new species of dinosaurs in the last 15 years because so many kids
Yes.
watched this movie and went, I'm doing that as a career. And I fucking did.
I definitely got variant dinosaurs, decided I would do it as a career, and then someone was like, it's a lot of work, and I was like, oh, no,
Yeah.
I quit.
I'll just be a mailman.
I'm going to do something else.
That was me with being a doctor.
But you know what isn't? Podcasting, guys. We fucking landed right where we belong.
Yeah, seriously.
It's almost no work at all.
Taylor, you are like a guest, so why don't you go next? Who would you
All right,
like to see in the Pop Filter
that
Hall
seems
of Fame?
pointed and mean, but I am going to nominate someone who, based on his recent role in a big budget movie, which has got a lot of buzz, may not be as worthy as the rest, but he's someone that we all love. Bill Hader.
Son of a bitch.
Wow.
Did I really
Did he
say
just
son of a
snipe
bitch.
Did I
yours?
snipe your pick? Did I snipe your little pick, buddy?
Oh, always come with 2 picks. Always come with 2
I came with
picks.
3, so I chose the specific one.
Bill
I thought-
Hader, this
Also,
is...
I will not be voting for Bill Hader now just because of this little thing. that
Oh,
you
I
did,
love-
your little
I love
tantrum.
spiteful
Oh,
votes.
not
do not
drinking
like
the
this.
Haterade.
I do not like this. But Bill Hader was on SNL. He was in Barry, which we all love. I
Yep.
recently finally have caught up and started watching that show. It's fucking
It is
great.
amazing.
And Bill Hader is one
He's
of those.
sexy as hell when he's killing
Yeah.
people.
And he recently had that video where he talked about how he deals with anxiety, which was very relatable to
Listen,
me.
guys, I have anxiety just like anybody else. And what I do is I look in the mirror and I say, stop. Stop it, Bill. Stop. It all depends on you, and you have to do it.
That's a very good Bill Hader.
Thank you. I thought I would just work that in there organically.
But not good anxiety advice. That really will increase your anxiety.
No, that's what I do with my anxiety, and I don't recommend anybody else do it at all. Yeah, Hader's in that phase right now where he's like, no, I'm a very good comedic actor. But also, like, maybe I'll just fuck around sometimes and just kill, like, all dramas that I'm in as well.
He's pulling a fucking Steve Carell.
He's maybe our nation's greatest actor and very important to us as friends. Wouldn't you agree, Ryan?
Nope, not anymore.
Ryan, do you want me to go to you next, or do you want a little bit of time to look around the room?
Do you want to?
No, I can go.
Do you want to steal some of mine?
Peter Computer Monitor. You guys remember him?
I'll just make the demoting Mike not a joke. No, I'm ready.
Do it, Ryan.
This is somebody who was nominated last season, so he is eligible again to get nominated.
A renom. I love it.
Mike was not here, so hopefully, Mike, you can help me out, get this person in.
I'm giving you a point just for the renom.
For knowing the rules.
None of us would be where we are today as people, as podcasters, as comedians, if it wasn't for the best dressed man in show business. It's insane that Paul F. Tompkins is not in our Hall of Fame.
Oh, what?
And I'm going to put it back up there again.
Paul F. Tompkins ran into some very stiff competition. It was Lola Bunny from Space Jam.
Oh, of course.
And Spiro Agnew, the vice president to Nixon.
From Space Jam 2.
And so,
absolutely, yeah.
Those are just a couple of people who are really important to us. And it split the vote. Nobody made it that time. So because we couldn't agree. Very strong, and I like his chances. So mine, it's not a joke, and it's not a gimmick, you guys. It's serious. There is a band that has been on our radar for the entire time that we have known each other. And we have felt every single way about this band. First, they were a band that we liked but wanted to hear more from. Then they were a band that released the greatest album we'd ever heard that we all know all the words to. And then the precipitous fall started. I am proposing Weezer, who has been so important to us, who we have basically sung the entire catalog of, including Rock Band. Remember when Rock Band was a thing and we all used to play? Weezer were the easy songs. And now it's
That's
gone.
when we were Weezer.
And yeah, exactly. And now it's gone all the way to the point where we hate them, which is like one of the most important things you can do for a band.
Honestly, it's the exact same track as My Family Store's My Parents.
And yeah, now all the way up to just finally ignore them and wait for them to die. And then maybe get a little sentimental around that.
When I was a kid, I knew all the words to My Parents.
Yeah, dude. It's like, I wish I didn't marry you. I wish I didn't marry you. The kid can hear this. I don't care, you know. All the classics.
People get concerned when a kid walks around saying exactly what you just said.
And kids are a lot like parents.
Kids are a lot like parents in that they just don't understand. Ryan, who are our nominees?
So we have up to...
And including
3 votes to vote for Jurassic Park, Bill Hader, Paul F. Tompkins, and Weezer.
And a Weezer. I have to say, I like the chances for Weezer. All right. So the first one we will vote for is Jurassic Park. Mike, this was your proposition.
Yes.
Do you support it?
Yes, dinosaurs are near and dear to my heart. I vote for them.
Taylor, do you vote for dinosaurs?
I do vote for dinosaurs.
Ryan, do you vote for dinosaurs?
I vote for dinosaurs.
I think there are few movies that are not about comic books that are as important to us as a group. I also vote for dinosaurs.
Yes.
Congratulations, dinosaurs.
And of course, we're talking about the show Dinosaurs.
Not the mama.
With that hot-ass teenage dinosaur.
Oh, my God.
I have a question.
When they redid the Parable of Solomon.
In the Hall of Fame, the painting of Hall of Famer Jeff Goldblum is in full Ian Malcolm drag.
Yeah.
So, do we have to make a new painting, or...
We're going to have to figure something out. Maybe we'll just put a few dinosaurs up there.
A T-Rex in Ian Malcolm drag.
And why is it drag?
It's more fun.
Next up is Bill Hader, who has proposed this. Taylor proposed this.
I proposed
Do you
this.
support your own Bill Hader nomination?
I do support my own Bill Hader nomination.
Mike, do you vote for Bill Hader?
I do.
Ryan, do you vote for Bill Hader?
The thing is... that was unbelievable. Like, my plan was to build it up as somebody who, like, the weekend that we're recording this, there's supporting actor talk.
Yeah.
And then I was going to go through SNL and then Barry and then finally bring up the video about anxiety. Like, that was fucking bullshit.
We all watched that video.
Yeah.
What a weekend everybody had.
What a wonderful time to be alive.
I'll vote for him.
All right. and then it's just to me, and yeah, dude, Bill Hader. I got to represent. I love Bill Hader. All right, next up, Ryan, your selection, Paul F. Tompkins. Do you vote for Paul F. Tompkins?
Fuck yes. All 3 votes onto him.
Mike, do you vote for Paul F. Tompkins?
I do.
Taylor, do you vote for Paul F. Tompkins?
I do.
And I, of course, will not vote for Paul F. Tompkins. Paul F. Tompkins, see yourself out the studio, you bum. What have you ever done or given to any of us? Nothing. Mr. Peanut Butter, that's gross. A dog named Mr. Peanut Butter. We know what the joke is, Paul. We know what the joke is. You're the joke, Paul.
We'll see you next season in Movie of the Year 1942.
All right. Up next is Weezer. Weezer was my selection. And, of course, yes, I vote for Weezer because I think Weezer belongs in the Pop Filter Hall of Fame. There are no votes left. So I guess, Weezer, you'll just join fucking garbage person Paul F. Tompkins as you both cry outside the walls of our studio. Ryan, who did make it into the Pop Filter Hall of Fame?
Mike's pick, Jurassic Park, and mine, and a little, to a lesser extent, Taylor's Bill Hader.
Taylor.
Couple points for Mike and Taylor. When we come back, we're getting to the last question. Good thing we've covered all the bases about this movie so far. Boogie Nights is almost as much about family as Fast and the Furious. But what exactly are we being told about family here? And what's the message, if any, about Corona?
The beer of the city.
I feel like for a movie that's so much about family, a little weird that they don't even mention Corona one time, the official beer of family.
Not the beer, not the city, not the thing that happens when a eclipse happens.
Sun thing? Yeah, dude. None of that. Here's a point for Taylor for knowing all sorts of different Corona connotations.
I think this movie, specifically the family aspect, was very interesting to me because we have the idea of like found family is always like a very queer like concept to me. And so the like Scotty being in that environment makes a lot of sense. And then the rest of them are just sort of like lost toys who are just sort of patchworked into it. And that is a fun thing. But where it gets weird is with Amber and her relationship with Dirk.
Weird how? I don't understand. Is this not a pretty typical relationship?
Much like modern porn. There's a lot of sex going on between that mother and son relationship.
Yeah, she's like, I just want you to be my son, and also, hey, let's bang. Also, I think you should be addicted to drugs like I am. Because she pretty clearly, like...
That's a good mom.
She wants to put that on him. Mm-hmm. That, like, in the disastrous 79 to 80 party, a big part of it is, I want to tell you I love you. And then I want you to also get addicted to cocaine.
I do wonder because I don't think she's not a Jack Skeeve. It seems to be this is how she's mothering. Like, this makes my life better.
Yeah.
I think this will make your life better. She's just not smart. Like, she doesn't know what it'll do to him.
But, like, just so all-encompassing. Like, the fact that, like, everyone knows that, like, she will never be Dirk's literal, legit mother, that makes her, like, just swarm into all aspects. And that includes... girlfriend, business partner, sexual partner, drug dealer. Like, she wants to invade it all because she will never have that one thing back that was taken away from her, kids from her literal body.
Yeah. And I want to pick my way through this very carefully because I don't want to equate things that are not equal. But in a way, these people, because of an aspect of their sexuality, which is that the performative professionalism of their sexuality, they are ostracized and cut off from their family units.
Yeah.
And then because of that, they need to come together as a family because they don't have access because of some aspect of their sexual lives to their original family anymore. So it's analogous. It's similar to that same idea, right?
Which is how you usually see, like, the most common instance of found families is within, like, queer culture with, like, kids who have been kicked out of their homes. Which you sort of see with Dirk, but like for a different reason.
Yeah, I think it's all of them are misfits, like you said, Taylor. That it's not porn is what like pulls them together, but they're all kicked out for their own different reasons. Roller Girl's a weirdo who fucking never takes roller skates off. Yeah, so she does porn.
Yeah,
I think that like it's really hard to talk about the obvious found family in the movie without talking about Dirk's OG family.
Yeah, dude.
Because that is really only there so we have like something to compare, Jack's family to later.
Right.
And the matriarch of this family. He has a dad, but he is the other cuck.
Does he have a dad?
Yeah, he does not have a dad.
He sits on a
The
bed
shell
and
of a
listens to
man.
screaming.
He has Lil Bill too.
His mom hates Dirk for like pretty unexplained reasons.
Yeah.
And but I think the important difference is that Dirk is accepted for who he is after he leaves, and it's like that's a like first time feeling for him. He had never found that before. He was hated for everything that he was.
She's one of the most heartbreaking scenes when he has to say, "Please don't be mean to me," which you should never have to say to your
Stop
parent.
being mean to me.
Is she's screaming at him because he works 2 jobs. He got in late because of a job, and then he's like, "I got to go to work," and she's freaking out on him. That's not.
Well, there's
it's
another
fair.
thing too going on that like she hates Cheryl Lynn. She keeps bringing up this slut Cheryl Lynn that is like the first partner that we see with Dirk. And I didn't really get that before, but now it's obvious that she got knocked up,
Right.
And like thinks that it's going to happen to him.
That like
That's where the hatred comes from.
I think she got knocked up by this fucking like worm,
Bedsitter.
fucking worm
Just
of a man.
Jerry from Rick and Morty.
Yes. and like I think she's taking all of the anger she has on her own husband out on him because she wants him to be better and is realizing you're like just as much of a fucking waste of a person as your father is.
You know what else I wondered if it was, and this is a little bit gross, but there's elements of this running through the movie. His big cock has such a weird, profound effect on people, and if the roles are reversed here, and a dad was really overly protective and talking about a daughter's like boyfriends and saying she could never leave the house and stuff, we would say it's because there's this weird, unspoken like sexual attraction there. And I wondered if he was kind of playing with that as well, because like this is the woman that gave this dude baths, and he was always packing heat. Like, and she does seem so weirdly focused on like you're fucking your slut girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean it is like a gender reverse but moms don't give a shit. Like they're protective of their daughters, but sons go out and do whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
they
moms
want.
always just high five their sons. It's like, get it.
She might be worried for those girls because he's got such a big ass hog.
Yeah, you can't go in normal. You really have to know what you're doing.
But
And
you're
you
right.
gotta find girls with like big equipment themselves.
Greg,
Yeah.
it's not
They're
just the
She-Hulks.
size. It's not just the size though. It's like opening the briefcase in Pulp Fiction
Yes.
when people look at it. Like they are awestruck.
There are so many shots in this movie of people seeing his cock for the first time, and the reaction sometimes is like Philip Seymour Hoffman of like, "Oh my god, I want that." But other times it's just people like have a profound moment of like self-reflection. Some guys you see are clearly like, "Oh God, how do I match? I don't match up to that." But other guys are just like, "I'm glad that fucking exists in the world."
Yeah,
Like,
like, it's
that's a beautiful piece of hardware.
It's just something great to look at. Like if you're looking at the real Mount Rushmore, like
Yeah.
that's fucking impressive.
the one of 97 fashions.
and the 97, and then
The real
also
one.
the moneymaker. Like
Oh,
a lot
yeah,
of people
dude.
are like enamored with money, and that's gonna make them some
the
money.
golden goose.
Yeah.
Cock.
Yeah.
Like when the colonel is like, I hear you have a great big cock.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta break here. May I see it? And then he's like, "Thank you, Dirk."
After 30 seconds of smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like his face changing a lot. Like awe, wonder, love, like
He's
money.
like, this is gonna make me so much money.
Go.
I was gonna say, I think going to the found family. What's interesting about what Boogie Nights does is so often found family is what saves you from the bullshit. And what this movie is, if you hang out long enough, even the family you choose will fuck you over like a real
Yeah.
family does.
And then and there might be a happy ending, but for a while there, you're actually going to be dragging each other down in a death spiral. And if this
Family.
movie continued for another 5 or 10 years, probably a whole other wave of bad shit would go down,
But
right?
it's important that it ends the way that it does, not just with like happiness and the Beach Boys and another fucking walk through the house, but also like very specific things like the dad and mom alone in their room. And then more specific than that, like after all of this shit, Jack is concerned with Roller Girl cleaning her room.
Yeah.
So like that's a full-on familial reset.
Yeah, for sure. And she's gone back to school, and so she's kind of like resumed being a kid as much as she could do that, and she's gonna finish that last part of being a kid and become an adult finally. So now it's less creepy. What's going on? Is that Beach Boys song creepy? Where Would I Be Without You?
No.
Okay, because it's what it is. It's one of the songs used in one of the BioShock games.
Yes.
It's used in BioShock Infinite, and it's really creepy in that.
It is very creepy.
And
Because they
it's-
do a barbershop quartet version.
Yes.
That's real weird.
Which is the creepiest music.
Yes. I think it is creepy. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's always since that game. It has always struck me as creepy.
When you say that, I get it.
Yeah.
I don't think PTA, like the movie ends happy, but I don't think he thinks these characters are just like great forever.
No.
It's all the lie. And so it's just that pop sheen.
Is
But
even
also
that-
like family, like that's how you keep in your family is you fight sometimes, but when you're not fighting, you have to keep up the lie of why you're not fighting, you know?
And, you know, at the end, it's just the family. You know, they use the same tracking shot where you've gone through a couple parties so far, but now everybody that's there, it's like they're all at Olive Garden or something because they're all family.
And I think it's also important, too, that Jesse is painting, I think, while Reed has Jesse's baby in the water.
Yeah.
Buck is somewhere else. So, like, that's, like, confirming, like, it takes a village. Like, this is now the family's
to raise a
baby.
fucked up baby.
And the second dick you see in the movie.
Real quick, a little weird that Lil Bill's picture is up.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what all the Hall of Fame pictures look
Okay,
like.
in fact-
The Pop Filter Hall of Fame.
Speed round.
Real quick, a little weird that Little Bill's picture
Yeah.
is up
Yes,
on
it
the wall.
is.
And it gets totally like a centered shot.
In the hallway where he blew his
Yes!
brains out, that's guys.
And
No, come
he
on.
killed
Promise me you'll do that.
He
when I
killed
do
his
that.
fucking wife.
Yeah, he
Also-
murdered someone in that house.
2 people.
Also, Jessie is not, she's the only painter. She is not a good painter. Her picture of Dirk and
Oh,
Little Bill,
man.
like, they are missing some DNA.
You know what
in
it
those
reminded
pictures.
me of? It reminded me of when that cleaning lady, like 10 years ago, accidentally erased that painting, and so
yeah.
she tried to paint
Which-
it again.
I
That's totally what it looks
Which,
like.
speaking of, I think yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of fucking Kanye West releasing a bunch of paintings that look like those frescoes of porn stars. What the fuck is going on with art, you
Or
guys?
speaking of Bill Hader, all the pictures look like you know when it like doesn't have a normal face, but his eyes just go all over. That every painting looks like that.
All right. The movie contains several characters that are disrespected and abused by their wives. Is this the first anti-cuck film?
No, I think it's pro cuck.
You think it's pro-cuck?
You gotta go be a cuck.
A real pro-cuck agenda?
Right.
Finally, a movie that has the balls to be pro-cuck.
Did you guys hear about one of the initial screenings where Little Bill goes in to kill Nina Hartley and the dude, and the audience went crazy? Like, they started cheering so hard, and Paul Thomas Anderson was like, "Oh no, I fucked up." And then Wild Bill, not Wild Bill,
Wild Bill.
shoots him in the
He'll cuck.
Little Bill shoots himself, and then they're like, "Oh no!" And then Anderson was like, "Okay, maybe I'm okay. I'm not sure, but they really wanted that bitch to die
That is so fucking weird.
Right.
I
because
guess,
cucks were so scared as a society of like being cucked
and
or getting called one by Republican geniuses."
doesn't all of that totally like prefigure all of this
Yeah.
weird incel film now, like with Joker coming out either recently or sometime in the near future, like, and getting like 8-minute standing ovations at film festivals. All right, is
Those
it me?
were all cucks.
Is it me, or were there a few scenes of weirdly quiet clubs in this movie
Yeah, there were some that were like too loud.
where they had the soundtrack music playing over like a montage? But then in the club, they would not play what the ambient music was supposed to be. So you would hear like people's shoes up and down. And some characters would actually play it as if it was very loud. In fact, they do a whole bit where John C. Reilly and Buck like scream at each other, and they can't hear one another, so they're each confused about what the other is saying. But the way it's just shot, they're just doing that in an extremely quiet room.
Which is a great bit to do if you're ever at a weirdly quiet club. Just start yelling at your friends like, "What? I can't. What?"
It is
Yeah.
confusing. You're right.
I do that to strangers who try to talk to me on a plane. Like, I don't want to talk to you for this flight, so I just scream "what" the entire time.
What? I scream like an English explorer. Let's go over there. What? What is something that you look at like the Colonel looks at Dirk's cock?
Dirk's cock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's we get that out of the way.
Yeah, I have that right in the beginning.
Hyperdrive on Netflix.
For me, it's the Colonel's face. Like, it's sort of like influencing, and now all of a sudden I'm doing that weird smile that
You're
you're
doing
doing.
it back at him. Just like a full-on commercial breakfast cereal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where you get every part.
For me, a submarine sandwich.
Oh.
A delicious submarine
From Subway?
sandwich. No, not from Subway.
sorry.
Eat fresh.
Not from Subway. We are an anti-Subway podcast.
No,
This
we
is a
are not.
This is a podcast devoted to Jersey Mike's, a more expensive
No.
Jersey
sub,
Mike's rules.
because
No,
you
fuck
pay
you guys.
for quality.
Subway all the way. I will suck the fuck out of Subway's dick.
No.
I will let it come all the way down my throat.
Subway
I
is not
love
a,
Subway.
Subway is not a chili dog, and you will not suck on it. Never. That's the sandwich of pedophilia. All right. Do you want to be? Do you want to eat the meats of pedophilia?
Well, if they taste that good,
Oh,
That's awful.
Own that. Own that, you sack of shit.
I take that back. I do not stand by that.
Which one of the four of us is most like Alfred Molina to hang out with?
Fuck.
Who has our biggest Rahad
Come
moment?
on, you guys.
Well,
Come
Taylor,
on.
you're wearing a robe and tidy whities right now.
You're the most likely to make a mixtape. You're the most likely to
that's
have
fair.
a boyfriend that's just setting off fire.
Yes,
You're the most likely.
I'm most likely to be the one setting off fire.
That's true.
You're the most likely to, when we look at one of your friends weird, you look at us and you're like, he's Chinese. Just deal with it.
It's Chinese.
That's a pretty racist moment, but is that because Chinese people invented firecrackers? He thinks that like they all just love them so much now?
There's so much to unpack in that one sentence.
Yeah.
Born as a Chinese person, you light off firecrackers, you die. That's the point of the movie.
You live your life one firecracker at a time. Does Mark Wahlberg feel like a pro or an amateur here? And does that
Both.
help or harm his performance?
Both in a very weird way.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's strange. It's like hard to describe. I don't think it was purposeful. Like, I think it was accidental, but like a very happy accident, I think.
He's gotten worse.
I really want to make it sexy. I think I'd like it if it was sexy.
It made me wonder if there is a real genuineness to him, because I don't have an opinion about the person at all. But because he is kind of a rough actor, the times when he's just acting very genuinely nice to people, that's when it comes off the most like realistic. He's just so often, he's just like, hey, I have to go over here, okay? But I'm going to come back and talk to you later. And the person's like, Derek, I love you.
But typically, performances that like really feel amateur feel closer to like Amber Waves in the porn, than like something that would seem like real acting. And he's in this middle ground, and I think it all helps with the like childishness.
Yes.
Like how he's acting is much more kid-like than if like their original choice was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
And that would have been a polished performance, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if the movie like wanted that.
And it wouldn't land right. Yeah, because John C. Reilly can do the pretend awkwardness, and he does a
Right.
really good job. But for Dirk, it had to be like the real thing. Who do we think Anderson sees himself in? In like, what character do you think Paul Thomas Anderson sees himself as?
Probably a mixture of Jack and Reed.
Okay.
I think that Dirk's bedroom is PTA's bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
the
think
most
where
fucking
the
like
magic
late
happens?
70s.
Yeah, all the posters and shit. But yeah, I think that I think if he's Jack, it's sort of like projecting and nervous. Like, I'm nervous about what I will become, and this is like maybe a way to handle it. But I also think
Okay.
that it's hard for a director to not feel like the father of a found family on
Right.
every movie shoot.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, he's in charge of everything that happens. Do you think he actually wears the little like bandana around the neck thing?
PTA?
Yeah.
Just that on the set.
That is
Nothing else.
I
and
have
the
to
Dirk
say-
Diggler prosthetic.
that is a
Are
look.
you going to start doing this?
That is a look that only had a very small moment in our shared history, but I think is such a snazzy look where it's like kind of the same
So
color as
good.
whatever jacket you're wearing.
Oh, bandana necklace is fucking awesome.
I don't think it's ever really going to come back because
do it.
you never see it except it's being like mocked, but I think it's a fine look. Well, that is the end of the speed round. I'm going to retire to my tabulation chamber where I do all my tabulating, and when we come back, we will have the winner. I have tabulated the scores and emerged from my tabulatron. Mike, welcome back, buddy. Congratulations. You scored 21 points. I think in a field of 3, 21 is a very high score.
It's very good.
Yeah, lately we've been putting up like 30 spots, but I think, that's pretty good for a 3-man weave. Taylor,
Yes.
T-Money,
Yes.
bring in the funny.
Absolutely.
My number one honey.
I love
You
this. I love to hear
scored
it.
27.
27.
Yeah, so you housed Mike.
It's pretty good.
You-
See, I think that's probably enough to win, right?
You dunked all over Mike.
Probably absolutely enough to win.
And you're a big boy. You would think, but it was incredibly close.
Son of a bitch. I just lost $10.
Ryan scored 28 points.
Oh shit!
Returning best friend. Congratulations, Ryan. Any words for your recently vanquished foes?
Greg, can I borrow $10?
I do not have $10. I don't carry cash.
You can Venmo me and I will Venmo. Taylor and I bet that he would win.
That Taylor would win.
You won,
Yeah.
but you lost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I won by winning.
Yeah, you ran up the score, but you ultimately lost. Losing by 1 in that scenario, I think, is analogous to winning. Okay, so we know who the winner of this is. We know best friend Ryan. But how about how Boogie Nights is going to do?
Currently, I think it is my number 2 seed after LA Confidential. I
Okay.
don't see it's definitely better than Titanic, and I don't
Yes.
see another, possibly based on how much I loved some of the Japanese movies in '88. Mononoke could have a chance to swoop it, but I think it's very high up there for me.
Last week when we were talking about the LAC, we were talking about like how fucking just clean and shiny it was.
Yeah.
And I know that I was the big Magnolia person in the 99 season. But this is sort of what I'm talking about, is like the sprawling all over the place, up and down, not just in like story but quality. You know,
Yeah.
like how ambitious this movie is. I think it could overtake the front runner right now.
There's a lot of movie here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And-
potential.
The one thing I wonder is, and we talked about it a little bit, but is this movie not as deep as Magnolia? Because it's not as complicated, granted. It's not as like abstruse. But does that mean there's less depth to it?
I don't
No.
think so. I think that like a lot of the stuff that we hit on today, like all of our topics, may have been obvious, but the ways that they're in there, like I think are
Yeah.
really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And there's like a bunch of like little tiny filmmaking decisions that like we didn't even get into that are like very thoughtfully put in and thematic.
I mean,
that-
yeah, like I think it could be more surface level and just have a lot of the camera work and like the segments that are in here and be just as good.
Yeah, it's going to be running up against two other very important movies. So LA Confidential, which you already talked about, and then Jackie Brown, which I guess is still
Yeah.
a question mark because obviously we haven't done this show yet. But I could see those two movies splitting the vote and then Boogie Nights sliding right in and going to the top. If I remember, this movie is matched up against Jackie Brown
Yes.
early,
Oof.
so that's going to be a little bit tough.
Something great is bouncing.
An early wound.
Yeah,
Yeah. But that, you know what? That's how we do it here.
there can only be one.
Yeah. We agonize from 32 to 16, and then it's even worse from 16 to 8. Going from 8 to 1 is not something we relish. You would think that we do because of this podcast, but we do not.
I prefer ketchup.
Terrific. I'll have to remember to give you an additional point
And a
for
bottle of
next
ketchup.
time. Well, congratulations, Ryan.
Thank you so much.
You are the winner. The rest of us boys are going to get up and go back into the green room, but you can feel free to just, I don't know, lay down something else here in the meantime if you would like.
Yeah, I think I'm going to join my victory up here. I'm going to maybe call up some of my real friends.
All right, well, we'll just head on out.
Okay, so what should I do? Let me get the ads out of the way first. I'm going to call up to the stage real quick, and I don't think Greg even knows she's here. This is Greg's sister, Gorga.
It's me, Gorga. Hello.
You guys look so much the same.
We get that all the time.
Are there personality differences, or is that the exact same too?
Basically, just the same guy. Me, I'm woman. Me, Gorga. Just very much like Greg, except of course I have this high woman's voice.
I have noticed that you have such a woman's voice.
Very different voice than Greg, whose gravelly low voice has a masculine growl that even I, as his sister, can't help but respond to.
Do you guys get along? Did you fight when you were kids?
I'll put it this way. I've never cared for him. Not my type. Very deep voice, and I like that about him.
It's
but
weird that his voice is so manly and then yours is so...
is so high and
Womanly,
feminine. You're absolutely right. I have often asked mother and father how that happened, and they said, some things, Gorga, we're not meant to know. Back to your squash lesson. And I say, Mumsy and Dadsy? All right.
Does Greg call them that too?
No, Greg calls them Bert and Tina, which I think is very disrespectful. One of the many reasons I, Gorga, a different person, is superior to him, and also a different person.
He calls your mom by her first name, Bertantina,
Bert.
but what is your dad's name?
Piangelo.
Piangelo.
Piangelo. Just normal names in my family. Names like Greg. Piangelo.
Gorga, is there any websites that you want to tell us about?
Sure. Go to yourpopfilter.com for all of Greg's hijinks and those hijinks of his friends as well. You can get podcasts, this and many more, and key articles about where now are Mike and Molly and the cast thereof. A quality article, getting more views every year. Or if you find you're in the need for some online shopping, go to amazon.com/yourpopfilter and you do all your normal shopping. But then Greg's website gets some money or something. And I say don't do that. Screw Greg. Go to Gorga.com.
You were able to lock down
I was
Gorga.com.
able. They said, thank God you just called us for Gorga.com because we're about to sell it to Gorga D'Angelo, but we'll save it for you.
Is Gorga D'Angelo related to your mother, Piangelo?
No,
She is not related.
Piangelo D'Angelo is someone different. You're confused again.
My bad. That's
You
on
are
me.
once again confused.
All right, thank you, Gorga.
All right, I'll see myself out.
Get out. Here to tell us about all of the other shows that we have is number one Weezer fan, Rufus Starkwell.
Whoa, what's up, guys? It's Rufus Starkwell here, number one Weezhead. I'm here for the week.
For the week? You're here for the week?
I'm here.
I just need you to read this one ad.
No, I'm doing a residency here.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm a Weezer in residence.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm putting some Whiz on some crackers.
Okay. What gives you the right to call yourself the number one Weezer fan?
I murdered Rivers Cuomo's dog about 10 years ago, and I've been hiding that from him ever since. So would a non-number one fan do that? Don't think so.
Are you nervous about like a John Wick Rivers Cuomo situation here?
No, I'm not. If by worry do you mean get erections every night thinking about?
That's
then
obviously
sure.
what I meant.
Then yeah, absolutely. That's a big concern of mine. But otherwise, no.
Are there any shows that you'd like to tell us about?
Weezer's performing in Santa Ana on the 9th.
The 9th of what?
You know, the 9th.
You suck at this.
Yeah, the 9th. And there's also a show called Superhero Hour. And Weezer's not on it, but like they sometimes like talk about like Weezer and how much Raditude is their favorite album, which I agree with personally. I think Raditude.
Number one Weezer fan thinks Raditude.
Yeah, I think Raditude is their best album that they've ever put out. They've got the dog on it.
It's definitely the best title of any album ever.
No
They have a rad attitude.
No arguments for me here, buddy. And also the OCD, which is a show that I think Weezer might have been on. I don't know.
I think they play all the lead roles.
Yeah, it's they talk about the OC. It's a pretty good show. And go out to the Santa Ana Playhouse on the 9th and see my boys
At that place where children's perform plays.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the
Thank
Children's
you.
Playhouse.
Rufus, can you stay up on the stage because here to tell us about Twitter and Instagram is Rivers Cuomo.
Oh, what's up? Rivers?
Rufus, how are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. How long were you listening?
Most of it. The green room is mic'd into. I do have a restraining order against this gentleman
Because he killed your dog?
Yeah,
I mean that's a thing that people do for me sometimes. It's you get like when you get to number one status, you get a lot of those letters.
He killed my dog, but before that, he killed my cat. Before that, he killed my gerbil.
Wow.
He's
Just moving up the pet chain.
Well, I mean, you should really stop getting pets if you're not going to take better care of them.
I haven't seen my son in 10 years just to keep him away from Rufus.
Rivers, you write like 12, 13 songs a day. Why don't you write one about Rufus real quick?
If you want to be a real big dick bag, why don't you name yourself Rufus Fuckface?
Yeah! All right! As a big fan, I love this shit.
Yeah, look.
You're sort of forced to love it. I think somebody has a Raditude, though.
So, like, a lot of people don't like our newer stuff. But I'm trying to see if I can break him. I don't want him number one fan, so we just write worse and worse songs.
Where do you want to see him? Top 10?
Top 10 fans? No,
Yeah.
I would love for him just to go on the Smash Mouth cruise. Maybe the 311 cruise. I can't have him buying.
Don't worry. I'm a number one fan of those guys, too.
He buys so many tickets to our cruises, and I can't have it.
Become like maybe an Incubus guy? Rivers, I'm going to get you out of here. Why don't you tell us about Twitter and
Whatever
Instagram?
tomorrow brings them, all right?
At your pop filters are good. I'm not on Twitter. I like to have that mystique. This is my first
Oh, yeah.
public persona in years, I think. So at your pop filter on Twitter, I've heard, and the Instagram at your pop filter as well. It's great. You guys are great. I love it.
Thank you so much. Get out of here. Both of you are gone. And here to tell us about how to contact us are the starters of the first ever Pop Filter Cruise that's coming this summer. It's Jeff and Goldie.
Hey there, Goldie. You ready to tell them all about this cruise?
Oh, I sure am, Jeff. I want nothing more.
Where are we going?
Oh, we are going to the Bahamas. We're going to Grand Bahama Island right now as of September the 8th. We're going right today.
Even on the 8th. going on the 9th. And what kind of events do we have on the cruise? We're going to Grand Bahamas, to the Little Bahamas, to Kokomo.
We've got an oatmeal bar. We've got Britney Spears' cousin performing.
Do we have a WWE match that you guys are announcing while we're there?
We've got Haystack is coming in, and he's gonna fight The Undertaker's cousin.
How pop filter of us to do that.
We know what you guys are like. You had very little input into the cruise. We listened to a few shows. We got you.
You know that we love cousins.
That's what we do, yeah. You guys are just talking about kissing cousins all the time.
And if you sign up right now, we will give you your own cousin to kiss on the cruise at the Midnight Kissing Cousins Retreat.
They legally become your cousin.
Bahamas, baby. Anything can happen. Goldie, or as I like to call him, Jeff times 2. Why don't you tell us about email?
Okay, email's like a thing, or you send us
our email, PodFilter email.
Oh, I got you. All right, so if you want to sign up for the cruise right now, you should contact at yourpopfilter.com. You send us an email, send a non-refundable deposit of $7,000, and we will get you on the premier cruise of the century.
Goldie, are you currently having a heart attack?
Yes, I am.
So Golden I grew up. Goldie's my cousin. That's just how he is. He gets a little wild sometimes.
Give me a little kiss, buddy.
Oh, Jeff and Goldie. This is great. And Jeff, why don't you tell us about the phone number we can call?
If you call 1562 Dr. DJ Pop, that is 1562 DR DJ POP, and you're the 10th caller, you will get free rooms, the free captain's suite on this cruise. Also, Dr. DJ Pop will be spinning the ones and twos every night of the cruise.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
See you next time.
On the next show, no. You guys will never be on again. Greg, can you come back up here, please?
Ryan, there's a lot of people just roaming around the studio, including my sister.
I didn't tell you about
and
that.
2 people that are just the same guy.
Also, I heard your sister's not your cousin, so figure that out.
Finally, smooching territory. Well, everybody, I think you would agree that we've had quite enough. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, we will be talking about Jackie Brown. Tune in then. But until next time, keep watching them movies.